Yes. It is unlawful for any person to sell or purchase a minor child. Yes. I would think a baby would be a minor child. Now, there's also what's known as trading in public office, the 9A68.040. Yes. Now, I know that those in the judiciary that thought that, well, I'm a judge and I'm going to just trade in my office. The refusal to enforce the actual laws. Now, a person is guilty of trading in public office, yes, if he or she offers, confers, or agrees to confer any pecuniary benefit upon a public servant, pursuant to an agreement or understanding that such actor will or may be appointed to a public office, or being a public servant, he or she requests, accepts, or agrees to accept any pecuniary benefit from another person, pursuant to an agreement or understanding that such person will or may be appointed to a public office. That would be a Class C felony. Now, this pecuniary benefit for those in the judiciary. Let me see. There was a leprechaun that got upset about me wanting to know the location of every pharmaceutical. Ooh. There was a monster that was upset that I wanted to make railroad ties out of recycled garbage instead of trees. Ooch. Seems that those in office must be in the back pockets of quite a few private corporations. The problem is that when I was on Guam, I thought that my wife had not really realized the importance of the sperm. Yes. And we were having oral sex, consensual, after 10 years of marriage. And I thought she didn't swallow when I thought she was supposed to. Now, not swallowing is really a crime because when you're performing oral sex on a man, and the thought was, well, I had an orgasm, she must have swallowed the sperm that was in her mouth. But she didn't, did she? Now, did somebody want to ask my wife what happened to my sperm? Because as I remember it, I went to a birthing center. Yes. In fact, get me all the birthing centers, those private companies and corporations that provide for the very special birth of a baby. Pooch. Did somebody ask Heidi where my sperm was at? Now, I thought somebody had made top secret arrangements that my genetics, in 2010, 8 years ago, would be sold to the highest bidder, so they can make little boys and girls throughout Europe, and they can make little dogfish out of my. Oh, could you call Sandra Taylor, Wayne Condit, and Lori Argyle? I wanted to know of all the babies that have been made from my genetics, how many of them have cried. Now, as a father, I would say you're trading in your public office for the pecuniary benefit of refusing to enforce the laws. Now, buying and selling of children is unlawful, and that would be felonies. Now, this lithium issue, the dogs had to be on lithium because you just couldn't let them make their own decisions. You know, it's not very often that I have actually thought about women performing the actual oral sex of swallowing. But I was thinking about a special vehicle that I wanted to drive on Friday and Saturday nights where I like to go out and see if I can find that one very attractive woman. And you know the Excalibur? Yes. It has a tire on the outside of it. It keeps a spare tire on the outside of the vehicle itself. I redesigned it. I can comfortably fit 4 people in the front and 4 people in the back, but I like to have 2 people in the front, myself included. No, myself as a driver would be 3 people so that there's one place for a very special woman. Now, when I go out drinking and dancing, I'm an alcoholic, so I don't actually buy any drinks for myself or those that are in recovery or sobriety. But the thought was that they could attract themselves to men in any bar that we go to and buy them drinks, seeing if they could get them intoxicated before we leave. I like to ask a woman to dance with me, and for those in the dog family that use lithium so as to get their dick sucked, I just wanted to know, where's that sperm at? Now this morning I'm thinking that you're trading in your office because of your refusal. And then somebody thought that they make little boys and girls out of my sperm. Now, does anybody know where all the crying babies are because you just didn't want to listen to them? And you didn't want women nursing their own children because the baby would not cry because you're in the dog family and you do not like crying babies. Why don't you give me the brains of every infant born in the last 2 years? Yes. And see if you put a little lithium in the diet of the mother or the child while gestating, or after birth, while nursing, so that you could control both mother and child. Now, when you really think about this pecuniary benefit, I'm thinking felonies today, okay? And yesterday you forgot that I told you about the fraud and the forgery. Why don't you give me the last 2 years of births? I'd like to know the 9 months before the birth certificate was issued. And then I'd like to know, did you put some lithium in the gestation or the lactation?